Hi, it's Nick from UK Gardening. It's the beginning of November and we've had a frost, which generally means that the dahlias go black. You can see this is actually a Bishop Landra, so it's actually a dark leaf anyway, but this is actually a green variety. You can see the leaves have gone black, so now it's an ideal time to actually take these in for the winter. They can survive actually in the ground over winter. All you'd actually need to do is just cut them down and put a heavy mulch over the top of them, just to protect them from the worst of the winter weather. The only problem is when they start to sprout in the spring, sometimes they can get checked back by either a late frost or by slugs and snails eating them. So if you've got a named variety, or you've got a variety that you really like and you want to ensure that you actually keep it for next year, it's a good idea to lift some of the tubers up. This dahlia is actually called Mystic Enchantment. This is actually in my mum's house, round at my mum's house, and this is a raised bed that I made actually out of a spare bed, but I want to lift this one because this dahlia is actually in a raised bed. Again, if it's in a raised bed or in a pot or a container, they do tend to get more frost damage. I guess the soil actually in the container can actually just freeze solid. Left in the ground or actually in the border, if they're just covered over, they do tend to survive. But as I said earlier, they can get checked by a late frost or by slug damage. So the first thing I'm going to do is just remove this little fence. Get my fork. You want to try and take as much of the plant root system as possible. So just loosen the soil up and lift it. I'm actually going to put this dahlia temporarily in this I think it's just a mushroom tray. I actually found them at the local garden centre. They were actually with all the cardboard boxes. So I'm just going to put a bit of newspaper in there. The reason I've just put that in there is if I'm actually going to lift 3 dahlias, and obviously if I put them all in together I might get confused about which tube is which. Now, if I lift this up and take a fork, I want to just try and knock a lot of the soil away. I will actually wash this, and any tubers like that fall off, keep those because there'll be a plant next year. Doesn't matter if they fall off. And just hit it with a fork. That's actually probably a tulip bulb actually, so I'll replant that. And you can see the tubers. Give it a good shake. That again, there's a tuber on the bottom of there, so I know that it's a dahlia. Put that in there. You can see here they've got lots of nice healthy tubers that haven't been hit by the frost. It's important to keep the secateurs blades clean. So I'm just going to get some methylated spirits and a bit of kitchen roll. Give those a good clean, good wipe over. It just stops any infection getting into the plant. And now I'm just going to remove those shoots completely. They can go in the compost bin. I'm going to get rid of that as well. Then I'm going to have a quick fork over. See if I've left any tubers in the ground. I don't think I have. That may be one, but I'm not so sure. I think it's probably a bulb, and that's a spring flowering bulb as well. That's the plant label, the original plant label. Obviously, if I didn't have this, I would actually write one. And now, if I turn that page over. Need to move that over a little bit. There's another dahlia in here. Support. This is the second dahlia. Now I think this one just sprung up, and I think it's from an old pound shop dahlia that my mum bought. Again, just knock off the worst of the soil. Give the secateurs a good wipe over again, just to stop any cross contamination. Cut those. And again, just dig, just to see if we left any tubers in there. It doesn't really matter if we do. I mean, if they survive, we'll get a bonus dahlia coming up. That one doesn't have a plant tag, but I know what colour it is. It was a baby pink or bright pink. So just write a plant label out for that. And then lastly, we've got this big one. This is Bishop Landruff. We'll get the fork in. Leverage it a little bit in a couple of places because we want to obviously take the roots up. Again, we want to take the plant up and knock a lot of this loose soil off. You can see I'm being quite aggressive trying to get the soil off, but I don't want to beat it too hard with the fork because I don't want to damage the tubers. I'll take out these plant supports. We'll keep these, they'll come in handy. And we'll remove the top growth. You can also do this with canna and ginger lilies, exactly the same way. You lift them, knock the soil off, remove the top growth, which you can just put in the compost. There's another couple of bits there. Just put that on top. So just check in here, see if there's any more tubers. Looks like I've got them all. Quick change of venues. I'm now back at my house, and I've lifted these tubers up. Now, what I actually just want to do is give them a quick rinse off to try and get rid of any soil-borne diseases. I don't think these have. I mean, these have been grown really nicely in a really good compost. I've not had any problems with them, but I'm just going to give them a good rinse off anyway, get rid of that soil before I put them away for the winter. In here is just cold water. Obviously, if it's hot water, it's likely to kill the plant. So just dunk it in here, just rinse off as much of the dirt as you can. And you can just store these tubers with all the dirt, but I prefer to get rid of it. There's some really nice tubers there. Don't be tempted to break them off at this stage. Just keep them as one. Most of that dirt off. And now I'm actually going to leave them to dry for a couple of days. Now I've shown you these mushroom trays, so I'm just going to leave them in there. If you don't have these, and I guess a lot of people won't have them, is if you just put them in a large pot with holes in the bottom. That'll obviously allow them to drain off. You just want to keep those in a frost-free environment, in the shed, in the garage, conservatory, even in the lobby, just to dry off, as I say, for a couple of days. I'm going to put that label with it as well, so I know what it is. I'm going to keep them separate. Then I have this one. This is the pound shop special, I think it's called. It's not called that. It's a bright pink dahlia. Again, just wash the dirt off. Oops. Put that in the tray. These trays are pretty good at stacking, so I'll put that one under there. And then lastly, this dahlia, a mystic enchantment. It says a single fire engine red. It is a bright red colour with the bronze leaves on it. Give that a good rinse. Put that in the tray, and I've got a couple of these tubers that fell off while I was digging it up. Just give them a rinse as well. Now I'll put these in the. I'm going to put these in the greenhouse. It's nice and warm in there. As I say, just to dry off for a couple of days. And after a couple of days, you should have something like this. This is Dahlia Diablo mixed. You can see that I've knocked all a lot of the dirt off these, and they've dried out nicely. They've just got a slightly lighter colour to show that they're dried out. This is the big clump that this is Bishop of Landruff, and in the bottom here we've got that bright pink one that I dug up from the raised bed. So all I'm going to do now is, if we just stored these in the shed, they'd probably survive, but they'd shrivel up a little bit. Also, they might get attacked by frost or passing rodents. So what we want to do now is get a large enough pot that will fit in, something like that. I could break this up, but I'm going to leave it to spring. I might be able to get a little bit more of the dirt out of there, but it's pretty well packed in there. I don't think there's any slugs or snails in there. Just tuck that in there. We want to use dry-ish soil. This can be sand, just used compost, something out of a grow bag. So I'll just put a little bit in the bottom, thread the roots in there. Probably got a little bit too much in there. So we're not actually planting this up. All we're doing is we're just covering it with dry soil, or as I say, you can use sand. If you're going to use sand, don't use a standard builder sand. We'll use a washed sand, because of the salt that's actually in some of the sands will kill the plant. So we'll just leave that in there. We'll put the label in, and that's it. That's pretty much it. Keep an eye on it. Just the soil should just be moist, not wet. Certainly don't water it. And that can go in the shed, cold greenhouse, lean-to, conservatory, porch, even in the spare bedroom. But it really wants to stay cold, otherwise it'll start shooting, and the long nights that we've got, it'll just put on a lot of leggy growth, and you don't want that. We want nice, compact, sturdy growth. So now what else have we got? We've got this bright pink one. I think we might have. I'm just going to break that off there. And I might just give it a little bit of a trim, just cut off some of these longer roots. Again, pop that in a pot. I'm not trying to pot them up. And try and keep them upright. What I mean by upright is, you can see here, this is the main stem. It's just that when you come to plant it up, and in the spring you'll see little shoots coming. coming out of the stem. It doesn't really matter if they're upside down. And in about March, April time, we'll just come along and take these out and plant them up. So again, we want to just put some dampish soil over them, and don't water them when you're doing that, you know, like you would normally when you're transplanting plants up. Put a label in it. This is the Mystic Enchantment. See what size pot. We need a bigger one than that. That will probably do. Yeah. And as you can see, it's nicely dried out. We'll just lose a little bit more of the soil out of there. We'll put that in the pot. Yeah, keep all the tubers together of one variety, because come this spring we'll separate them, but we might as well just keep them all together for the time being. Just cover that up nicely. Put the label in there, and that's about it. As I say, if you've got heavy soil, lift them. If you've got light soil, you can try and get away with leaving them in over winter, as long as you cover them and it gives them some protection. And that's about it. If you've got any questions, please post them below. Thanks. Bye.